How's everyone today? Welcome to the Dirt Road Farmer, commercial farming. Well, we've got a couple of different things that we need to get done today. This is one of our fields that we harvested soybeans on, and we need to come in and mulch this and get ready to plant it. And we also have 6 other fields about the same size as this, maybe a little smaller, and they're going to have to be mulched as well. So I've already got these guys set up. We'll turn the HUD back on and we'll get these guys going. Alright, now I've got these guys set up to skip a row all the way across this field, and then when they get to the other side, then they'll come back and pick up all the rows that they skipped. So we'll let that guy get ahead a little bit. Alright, now we'll start this guy. Yeah. Alright. That's the one thing about these mulchers that I don't like, is the way they slide around. They don't pick up at the end of the fields. You can't pick these up. So, or at least I've not been able to figure out how to do it. It just don't pick up. So, alright, well, we've got these guys off and rolling. We're going to jump out. Okay, and we're going to go over here. I've got a tractor over here hooked to our honey wagon. Yeah, and we're going to go up and well, I guess I have done this off video. I plowed some fields together up here, and yeah, so I think I done it right, but I'm almost sure I did. But anyway, we plowed some fields together, and we made larger fields out of 3 different. Well, we took 6 fields and plowed each one of them together to make 3 big fields. So that's what we've done. And what we've got to do now is we've got to fertilize. We got to get the first stage of fertilizer on this field. And we get up here and we'll look, and I'll show you what I mean. And then what we've got to do before we can plant it, we have got to go in and change the ground texture so that the planter will put the second stage of fertilizer on. So we'll get up here and we'll take a look at this, and I'm going to get this guy set up on GPS so that we can hold a straight line going down through there. But anyway, this is what we're talking about right here. Now let me turn the HUD back on. Now, this is where we plowed that field and that field together. Okay? If you look, we have no fertilizer. So we need to put the first stage of fertilizer on it. Now over here, where we got the straw on the field, we've got the chopped straw mod. We've got our first stage of fertilizer. Now, one thing that I want to explain, if you get your first stage of fertilizer like this with the chopped sorrel mod, then you don't need to change the ground texture before you plant. And your planter will go ahead and put the first stage on. However, over here where you have to physically either put solid fertilizer on, manure, slurry, liquid fertilizer, whatever it is, if you have to manually put it on like we're going to have to here, then we got to change the ground texture before we can plant it, because a planter will not, even though it's a direct drill, I know it doesn't make any sense, but the planter will not put the second stage of fertilizer on it. So that's just the way it goes. So anyway, I'll get this guy all set up on GPS, and I'll get right back with you. All right, well, we are applying slurry, and everything looks pretty good. Oh yeah, like I said, we've got plenty of slurry, so I'm even going over onto the field a little bit, which is not going to hurt a thing. So when we get up here, we'll turn around and we'll come back. We'll get each, we got 3 sections to do, and yeah, we'll do 1 section at a time. But you know what we could do? We could pick it up. Let's see. Yeah, we could lift it and go to the next section. Yeah, we'll just do all 3 of them at one time. How's that? Yeah. All right. But everything looks real good so far. All right, well, I'll get back with you when we get a little farther along. All right, we're about to get to the end of our 3rd field that we plowed together. So we'll get up here and we'll turn around, get locked onto our GPS, and we'll go right back down. Everything is looking good. When we get locked on, we'll walk out on this and see what it says. But it should say 50% fertilized. So that's what it should do. All right, we'll pick that up. And let's get around here and get locked back on. All right, we are locked back on. Now, before we put it down and start putting slurry back down, let's jump out. We'll have to turn our HUD on so we know what we're talking about. And we'll get over here, and we're 50% fertilized. Good deal. All right. Well, at least we know we're headed in the right direction. All right, so let's put our header back down, and away we go. All right. Anyway, well, that I took on a new mod that's an autosave mod, and it's messing me up is what it's doing. So yeah, I guess I'll be turning that off and getting rid of that, because it yeah, it makes the game stutter and everything. So yeah, we're not or I'm not enthused with it, let's put it that way. All right. So I'll show you what I do down here at the end of the field. Now this slurry spreader, I modded it. I didn't really mod it per se. I just increased the capacity of it because you couldn't do nothing. You just, all these slurry spreaders were designed for small fields, and I mean small. They wasn't designed to do anything big with, you know. Well, all I have is big. So, and I know it's a little bit unrealistic, but you know, that's just the way it goes. So, but we will have enough slurry in this tank to finish this job. So, how's everybody doing anyway? Are you ready for the weekend? It looks like we're going to kind of have a rainy, nasty weekend, and I think Santa Claus is going to have to get some rain gear instead of snow gear this year, is what I think. But yeah. Anyway, we'll just keep right on going right across. The only thing that I'll do differently is I'll lift our slurry spreader. I'll lift it so that we're not applying any slurry when we go across. There we go. We lifted it. And we'll put it back down now. There we go. All right. Well, we're going to continue spreading slurry, and I'll get back with you here in just a little bit. All right. Well, we're about to get this done, and we can pull up our HUD. Yep, and it's taken just a little over 250,000 liters of slurry to do this job. So that's a lot of slurry, and that's what I'm talking about. And whenever you get, you know, on one of these fields, you're a long way away from the slurry tank. And yes, I could get a tanker and haul the slurry down, but you're in the same boat. So if you don't add capacity to one of them, well, then there you go, you know. So, all right, you see that autosave is messing me up. All right, now we're going to fold this thing up, and we are done with that. So the next step is we must change the ground texture now. So I'm going to take this slurry spreader back down by the cow barns, and we'll pick up a tractor with a cultivator on it, and we'll cultivate this down. You know, just whatever it takes to change the ground texture. That's all we're looking to do. So anyway, I'll get back with you here in just a moment. All right, well, we come over here to check on our guys that's doing the mulching, and it looks like they have made it to the end of the field, and now they're on their way back. So yeah, everything is looking real good. Here comes the guy beside him. So they have already made it to the other end of the field, and now they're going to come back and pick up all the strips that they left behind. So that's a good deal. All right. Well, we're gonna go and get them strips of ground that we plowed and spread slurry on. We're gonna go and get them cultivated. We're going to change the ground texture. So I'll see you in just a moment. All right. Well, we've got GPS set up, and all right, here we go. All right. I was beginning to wonder whether this tractor was going to pull that. It's got to be hard to pull, but it ain't having any problems. And it is changing the ground texture, so yeah, that's a win-win situation right here. Now whenever we come back in, the plant with the planter, then it'll plant right over it and it'll add the second stage of fertilizer to it. So I also wanted to talk to you about, as I was finishing up the last little bit of harvesting on this field to the left of us there, the thought come to my mind, a little story I need to tell you. When I was just a little boy, and I mean, I was probably 14, maybe 15, I'm not sure. I worked for a cousin that owned a big farm, and it was actually a big chicken farm, but he also had hogs and cattle and, chicken. Besides the chickens, I mean, we stayed busy, and he wanted me to come down and work for him one summer. So, of course, yeah, I was all for that because I've always been, since a very small kid, out there in a sandbox with your toy tractors and stuff. I've always loved farming, so yeah, I thought that's just for me. I need to go down and learn and drive the real tractors, So that's what I did. Well, we done a little bit of everything. A lot of the focus was on the chickens because that was a big deal on his farm. But we also harvested corn and we harvested wheat and stuff on his farm. So he taught me how to drive the harvester and everything I needed to know about it, and got to where he would run alongside me with the he had a 2-ton grain truck, and I would empty the wheat out into the truck. And so one day he said, now we've got a job to do. I don't know if it was for a friend or whether somebody hired him. I really don't know anything about that part of it, but we had to go somewhere else off of his farm to harvest some wheat. And we were going to take his harvester and the 2-ton grain truck, and we were going to go there, and it was about 7 or 8 miles from his farm to the farm that we were going to. Well, I don't have a driver's license. I'm just a kid. I don't have a driver's license. I could have drove the grain truck, but being out on the road, he told me I was going to drive the harvester. Now, that's where it gets interesting. Now, being a kid, 14, and like I said, I may have been 15, I'm not sure, but 14 anyway. That header, I don't know what size header it was, but to me, that header had to be 40 foot long. And no, it wasn't. It definitely was not 40 foot long. But, you know, I was a kid. So, going down the highway, to me, was a challenge because I had all them mailboxes that I needed to miss. You know, mailboxes, street signs, everything. So that was quite a adventure for me. And then what I didn't know is where we were going. We were going to have to cross the river. Now what I did know is that where we were at, there was no bridges crossing the river anywhere around there. And we got over there and come to a stop, and we were at a ferry that was going to cross the river with a ferry. I pulled up there to that ferry, and I'm looking at the header on that harvester. And boy, I mean, I locked that thing down, and I come out of that harvester and hit the ground. He said, "Where are you going?" I said, "Well, I'm going to let you put that harvester on that ferry." I said, "It looks awful tight to me." He said, "Boy, you drove it over here. You're going to put it on that harvester, or you're going to put it on that ferry." Oh, man, you talk about nervous. Yeah. When I got back up on that harvester, I think we had about 6 inches, maybe 8 inches clearance on both sides of that header once I got it on that ferry. And yeah, that's something I ain't never going to forget. And that, you want to talk about learning the hard way, that was the way. And, you know, I look back on that day, and I'm thinking, if he would have let me by with that, and he would have got up there and put that harvester on that ferry, I wouldn't have learned anything, would I? Nope. So, I look back on that day, and I thank him for that. And it sure taught me a lot. So, anyway, we're going to get to the end here, and we're going to turn around, and we're going to go back the other way, and just keep on keeping on. All right. Well, this guy is on his last pass, so we took a break from cultivating just so we could come over here and make sure we get these guys off the line and shut them down. So, but everything has really gone real well today. You know, the thing that really bothers me about this cultivating is if you come over here now, soybeans was in this field, and you cannot tell that you're mulching anything. However, and as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't need to be mulched. But if you do not mulch this, you will take, I think it's a 3% hit on your harvest. So, you know, it's, and I've had people send me messages and comments and saying it's not necessary, you don't have to do it. And no, you do not have to do it if you're not concerned with your harvest being your harvest bonus. I usually shoot for 100% And if I get a 3% hit on it, that could be a lot of money, especially whenever you're talking about thousands of acres. So you know, it's 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. So I don't know. Leave me a comment. Let me know. Let me know what you think about it. Me, I'm not happy about it, but it's one of them necessary evils, I guess. All right, I think this guy is done. He has finished. All right, we're going to fold him up and get him out of the way. And our next one will be coming up, and he'll be done real soon. And there's that auto save again, making everything stutter. Yeah, I'll be getting rid of that. I don't care for that much. All right, we'll shut him down, and let's go get in this other guy. All right, whenever he reaches the end of the field, he'll be done. All right, well, we'll get to the end of the field. I'll get him shut down, and then we'll go back to our cultivating and get that strip done, where we can get, you know, we can get these guys in there and let them start mulching and get on with the program. So I'll see you here in just a little bit. All right, we'll get up here and lower this. And we are off. And boy, that looks nice, doesn't it? You get these fields plowed back together. And yeah, it's going to make harvesting go a little faster because we won't be having to switch fields so often. So basically, it took 6 fields and made 3 fields out of it. So they're just twice as big. So anyway, I guess we're going to call this a video. I know it's been a kind of a boring video. Sorry about that, but it was one of those things that we needed to get done. And yeah, as long and drawn out as it is, as many steps as you have to take to get it done, it's still, every step is necessary whenever you do that, you know. So anyway, like I said, I guess we're going to call this a video. And as always, thank you very, very much for watching.